Hey guys, Roxy Sims here, and I have another speed build for you today. Today I'm building Hogwarts Magic HQ. If you haven't really been able to get into the new Realm of Magic game pack, the Magic HQ is basically where your sim goes to learn how to do magic. And when I heard that, I immediately thought of Hogwarts, of course, being a pretty big Harry Potter fan. So let me just put a disclaimer out there right now. This is not like a full-on Hogwarts. This is basically a Hogwarts version of the Magic headquarters. So I just want to put that out there right there so that I don't get completely bombarded with Harry Potter superfans saying, this is not Hogwarts. No, I totally know that. This is just basically a Hogwarts version of the Magic headquarters. I would absolutely love to make like a real deal Hogwarts for the Realm of Magic, but this is the biggest lot. Well, I don't know if it is the biggest lot, but it's the only lot that's in the actual realm, and it is like a 40 by 50 lot. So, just impossible to make a real deal Hogwarts. The biggest lots that we have in The Sims is 64 by 64, and even that is probably still too small to fit every single room that goes in Hogwarts into it. So I was definitely not going to be able to fit everything into this Hogwarts considering it's a 40 by 50 lot, but I did my very best to fit every important thing into it and have like the real essence of Hogwarts, if you know what I mean. I wanted it to scream Harry Potter, even though it is on the smaller side for a Hogwarts, but still, I wanted that to really come through in this build. But I also really wanted it to be functional. So, like I said, this is replacing the Magic HQ in the Realm of Magic, and I really just wanted it to work really well, for that purpose, because this is what I will be using as the Magic headquarters. So first and foremost, I wanted this thing to be functional, and like I say this in every build, but pretty much before I do any gameplay, I rebuild every lot that I'm going to use. So that is the quest that I am on currently. I'm rebuilding every lot for the Realm of Magic. Well, not every, like sometimes I don't do all the lots, but I will definitely rebuild all the lots that I'm going to be using. So this was the first one that I was like, nope, gotta change it immediately before I can even use this pack. This one has to be different. And I'm just really excited that I have an opportunity to build Hogwarts and have a purpose for it, because I've been really wanting to build Hogwarts for quite a while, but there hasn't really been a reason to. I didn't think I'd really be able to use it if I did build one. So now finally I have a real reason to build one, and I really get to use it. I'm excited to use it. And with functionality in mind, I also made this a place where you could spend a lot of time, if not all your time. For example, I put in a kitchen, I put in bathrooms and showers and pretty much everything that you would need to live here. So you can't technically live here, you can't turn it into a residential lot, for example, but there's nothing really stopping you from staying there indefinitely. So that's basically, I think, what my sim will be doing whenever I finally get into the gameplay of this. I think they're practically gonna live there. So like I said, you'll have everything that you need if that's what you want to do as well. So you might be noticing that I am not building in the Realm of Magic world. I'm currently building this in Windenburg. Because as soon as like I told you before, as soon as I heard about this pack, I'm like, I'm making a Hogwarts for this pack. No doubt about it. And since I knew making a Hogwarts, even if it is on a 40 by 50 lot, it's still a ton of work. It's humongous, super intricate, and I knew it was going to take forever. So I'm like, I'm starting this beforehand. Otherwise, it won't be done for a really long time. And then everyone else will have their Hogwarts out. Because I knew I was definitely not going to be the only one making a Hogwarts for this. So I started building on a 30 by 30 lot in Windenburg. And the thing is I didn't even know how big the lot was going to be. I watched the trailer and I looked at the Magic HQ and I'm like, I think it'll be at least 30 by 30 because they hadn't released lot sizes by that point. So I just had to go on a guess. And I just like hoped and prayed that the lot wasn't going to be smaller than 30 by 30 because if it was bigger, I'm like, well, that's no problem. I can, make things bigger. But I knew that if I had to make this even smaller, I was going to have problems. I was like, oh no, if it's smaller, that's going to be terrible. So, glad to find out it was actually bigger than the 30 by 30. Thank goodness. I don't know what I would have done. Also, since I started building this without having the actual pack, the actual Realm of Magic pack, I did switch out some things. So, some doors and windows. As soon as I got the pack, I switched out the windows that are in the dining hall and some other things. You'll see some changes once I get the pack and then we move the build on over to the Realm of Magic. So guys, I actually ended up watching every single Harry Potter movie while I was building this. So I just would turn them on and I would sometimes get distracted by them and stop building and just end up watching. But I wanted to make sure that it felt as Harry Potter as it could possibly feel, and I wanted to put in a few moments from the movies into the build as well. For example, I did put some spiders crawling on near Hagrid's window on his little hut. I put a flying car into the Whomping Willow tree. I just wanted to put in little things like that you might get a little chuckle out of if you are fans of the books or the movies or both. I just wanted to make sure that I'm getting the real essence of Harry Potter in this build. Just to warn you guys, this video is heavily edited. I wanted to make sure that I had the entire build in one video, exterior and interior, and it's quite intricate and large, so I had to edit out lots of things, but I kept in anything that I thought was really important and the basics of all of it. But if it was a boring bathroom, then it got cut. I did keep in one bathroom, and you'll see which bathroom that it is, but it was an important one, so I kept that in. But anything that was boring like that, it just had to go. I don't know why exactly it was so important to me to have it all in one video. I don't know, but I felt very strongly that it should all be in one. And so I fought really hard to make that so. I kept out, I pretty much would scroll while I wasn't recording. Scrolled and pick out items that I wanted to use while I wasn't recording because I knew that would just add a ton of time to the video. And it's already a 35-minute video. And that's with me cutting out lots of things. So I had to be very careful in how I was editing and what I was choosing to keep in and what I was choosing to film. So yeah, a lot of editing work. There are definitely lots of things that are in the movie, for example, this section right here with the moving staircases with, all the portraits and that they aren't exactly where they are in the real Hogwarts. Just warning you. So whenever I switched it up to make it the Magic HQ, not everything would fit in the exact places that it is in the real Hogwarts. Now, I figured you probably already would guess this since I'm making a mini Hogwarts to go in the Magic Realm, But just in case, I wanted to put that out there, that not everything is exactly where it should be. I would love to make a Hogwarts replica, but this is just... that gives you the feeling of Hogwarts. I know I keep saying this, but I feel like I have to. I feel like the Harry Potter fandom are gonna come after me. Since it's not exactly like the real Hogwarts, I feel like they're gonna come for me. So I'm gonna start watching my back wherever I go, just to make sure. So yes, like I said, just the essence of Hogwarts. That's all I'm trying to do. Please don't hurt me. So let me explain a little bit more about what you do in the Magic HQ. So the Magic HQ are where 3 sages live. So there are 3 different types of magic that you can do, and these 3 sages are kind of like in charge of each of their own type of magic. Like I said, I haven't actually done any of the gameplay, but I did watch the live stream, and this is what I know so far. So the 3 different types of magic that there is there's practical magic, there's mischief magic, and then there's untamed magic. And like I said, there's a sage for each one of those. You can tell that the person is a sage because they'll have their rune glowing above their head. So that's basically what you'll be using this lot for. Is if you want to, I mean, you can use it for lots of different things, but the sages can teach you, I think, spells and just how to do magic, and then you can also just find lots of other spellcasters on this lot. Whenever I played it for a little bit, I mean, I was really surprised by how many other spellcasters are on this lot normally. I mean, I didn't really play it, but whenever I had it in live mode for a little bit just to take pictures and to test everything, there were just spellcasters everywhere. So I thought that was really cool that there were just so many of them hanging out on this lot. Because then you can, test your spells out on those other spellcasters, or get in little duels with them, or just make friends with other spellcasters. Lots of different reasons to use this lot. It's basically, as the name suggests, it's the headquarters of all magic. So if you're a spellcaster, that's where you want to be. So of course, in this pack, you can just go ahead and make your sim a spellcaster. Like, if you are making a new sim, you can make them a spellcaster. But if you're using a sim that you've already made, or just a sim that isn't one yet, the sages, I think, are where you need to go to become a spellcaster. So I guess you go up to them and ask them to become one, and I think they send you off on a little mission to find some objects to make sure that you're deemed worthy of becoming a spellcaster, which is fairly easy to do from what I've read, so I don't think it's a huge deal. But, oh, this is the bathroom that I was talking about earlier, the special bathroom. And if you are fans of the movies, you will soon realize this is the bathroom that leads to the Chamber of Secrets, which is where we run into the basilisk, the big snake monster thing that Tom Riddle is using. So, I got to share this with you because whenever I was looking into building this bathroom, I did a little research about the bathrooms in Hogwarts, which I found quite interesting and I want to share with you guys. I always laugh when I find myself doing research on things that aren't even real. So, this pretend school of witchcraft and wizardry, Hogwarts, it was actually established in 990 AD. And as we know, that's hundreds of years before any modern systems of plumbing. So I guess J.K. Rowling decided that she would share the way that wizards would relieve themselves before plumbing was added to Hogwarts. I do apologize if you find this topic offensive, but hey, we all do it. And like I said, I just found it quite interesting because I have thought of this. I have thought, hey, that is a really old castle. What did they do about going to the bathroom before plumbing? So this is the answer. Apparently what they would do is just go wherever. The long robes helped with that situation. They would just go and then use a spell to just make it disappear. And the problem is that they didn't actually make it disappear. It would just end up moving it somewhere else. So they eventually added plumbing, I guess, in the 18th century is when modern plumbing was added, and then the wizards didn't have to do that anymore. And another thing that we all know is not all of the young wizards that went to Hogwarts are that good at spells. So you can imagine it would have been quite the problem if they still had to do that. So I hope you like learning about the plumbing in Hogwarts. I sure did. Oh, and another thing is apparently that when they were putting in the plumbing, it almost revealed the entrance to the Chamber of Secrets. Because, whenever Salazar Slytherin put it in, that was long before plumbing came into Hogwarts. So that's why they built the sinks around in that round formation. It's because they had to hide the entrance. And speaking of the Chamber of Secrets, I really wanted to add the like pipes and then the basement area where the basilisk and Harry fight. But unfortunately, when I tried to do that, it ruined all of the terrain work that I did above. So I should have put it first, but I didn't know that. So unfortunately, I could not put it in. It was a big disappointment. But, it probably is for the best because this is already a pretty big build and not everyone's computers can handle so much. So many stories and so much stuff. So in the end, it's probably a good thing, but still overall kind of disappointing. So, it is what it is. At first, before I knew the actual size of the lot in the realm of magic, I almost thought I wasn't going to be able to put Hagrid's house. So I was like, no, I have to have Hagrid's house. So when I found out that it was a 40 by 50 lot, I was very excited because that did leave me room to put that in. And then I also got to put in a greenhouse, which I really wanted, and also the Whomping Willow Tree. So thankfully it was big enough that I got to add all of those things. And I was also very excited to add a little pumpkin patch outside of Hagrid's house. I always think pumpkin patches are super cute. Oh, and here I am working on the Gryffindor common room, and I don't know if you actually get to see it in this. I don't know if it was one of the things that got cut, but the door leading into this common room is covered by a big painting. A portrait of a lady. So, you do get to have the secret entrance into this room. One of the things that did not fit in the build are like multiple common rooms. I got 2 common rooms, which was the Slytherin common room and the Gryffindor common room. I just could not fit the other 2 in there. Otherwise, there would be no room for classrooms. So that classrooms are pretty important, so I couldn't fit all of them in. So I figured the 2 that I would pick would definitely be Gryffindor and Slytherin, because I don't recall ever seeing the other 2. Like I said, I was watching the movies as I was building this. I did not see them at all, so correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm not sure if you ever really see them. So these 2 common rooms definitely seem like the correct choice since you have seen them and I knew how to decorate them correctly. I had fun with the Slytherin common room. That one was really fun because I changed a lot of the lights so that they're green and it just looks so dark and gloomy in there. I think it fits perfectly. And I really like the way that one turned. I like this one too, but that one really turned out well with the green lights. I'm sorry to all the Ravenclaw and Hufflepuff fans out there. I really wish I could have fit those in too, but I just couldn't. And I mean, have you ever like had the test done to see what house you'd be in? I did it, and I am apparently a Ravenclaw, so unfortunately I couldn't even fit my own house in my own Hogwarts. It is a shame, I know. But like I said, it's a smaller one. I did what I could. I'm actually really excited to show this build to my sister-in-law. My sister-in-law is a Sims fan, but she is the biggest Harry Potter fan that I know. Like, bigger than any other person in my life. So I hope I did her proud. I hope she likes it. I'm actually kind of nervous to show her, but excited at the same time, you know? Eek! I hope I do you proud, Kim. I don't know. I hope she likes it. My sister-in-law is really the reason that I became a fan in the first place, because I was just really late to the Harry Potter party. I just somehow missed it. I don't know how. Because, like, I somehow got the 4th book. Like, someone gave it to me. I didn't buy it, but someone gave it to me, but I never did read it because, you know, I knew it was the 4th one, and I couldn't just start from number 4. And at that point, I was still buying things with allowance, you know? And I had a very limited allowance, and I was so obsessed with music that still am, but at that point, I mean, that's how I spent most of my time, is music and movies. So any little money that I had was going straight to those two things, and not books. My love of books didn't come until probably my later teenage years, because I feel like so many, like I had a few books that I was totally obsessed with. Like in 6th grade, we read The Giver, and I loved that book. But I feel like most of the books that I read after that were not that wonderful, so I didn't fully appreciate reading until a little bit later. And I didn't fully like fall in love with it until I started reading some just really awesome books. And I'm like, oh, this is amazing. I love reading. Now I read at any given opportunity. I'm obsessed. And yeah, so I just didn't know, like, if I would have known how awesome the Harry Potter books were, I would have read them so much sooner. So yeah, I was late to the party, but I'm here now, so it's all good. Speaking of reading, I am on the hunt for another really good book. So, or like maybe a series of books even, that would be great. You know, and I've read pretty much all of the big ones, you know. So if you have any hidden gems, definitely let me know in the comments. I would love to hear what you're reading, and because I'm on the search for another really good book. Oh guys, I did want to mention in this that you can't edit the lot in the Realm of Magic unless you have cheats. It's one of those lots that you have to put in a cheat for. If you don't know that cheat, it is BB period enable free build, no spaces. So put that in the cheat bar, and then you can access this lot to, if you want to renovate it yourself, or if you just want to put this build into your game. That is how you do that. Oh, and definitely have the move objects on cheat. You'll for sure need it, because there is a lot of crazy things in here. If you don't have that cheat on before you place it, it will mess up a lot of stuff. So, just to let you know, that is how you do it. So like I said earlier, I am rebuilding all the lots that I will use before I check out any of the gameplay for this pack. And I think I'm going to make a restaurant, because I like to put a restaurant in every world. And then maybe a cafe, maybe a bookstore. I'm not sure. I'm thinking something definitely like cute and quaint and cozy and all of that good stuff. because Glimmerbrook just really, it just seems to fit that kind of a world, especially because all the lots are kind of small. I think they're like, most of them are 30 by 20, which I'm okay with. For the most part, I like kind of smaller builds, so that's alright. It's not the end of the world for me. Oh, here's the little pumpkin patch I was talking about earlier. I love it. Anyways, I was wondering what your opinion is on what other lots that I should have in this build. I think definitely kind of like a cafe kind of restaurant, maybe like a brunch coffee kind of place, and then maybe like a real cafe, like a coffee shop with a bookstore, you know, and then maybe a place to sell potions and brooms and things. So I'm just wondering what your opinion is on the things that I should build next. Right here, I am putting in these like baskets and crates and things, because if you look at pictures of Hagrid's house, he has all these baskets hanging from the ceiling, and I don't know why, but I thought they were pretty cute, and they don't really impede much if you're in there, you know, because all these walls are tall. They're the tallest that you can get, so by hanging them up, they don't really mess with anything, and they're definitely accurate. That's what Hagrid's place looks like, and it was hard to find a whole lot of pictures, because mostly you only see the main room of Hagrid's house, but you know, I tried to scrounge up all the pictures I could to make it as accurate as possible. I did purposely try to make Hagrid's kitchen kind of unusable. I put in another kitchen in the castle, and when I want people to cook, I kind of want it to be in there, so just to let you know, you might have to, if you want to make it usable, you might have to change a couple things around. Right here, I am working on the potions classroom, which I think might be my favorite classroom. There is this section that you will see where I put in all like the ingredients to make all these potions. And I think it's my favorite part of any of the classrooms, but I don't know, it's hard to decide. You will for sure need a cauldron if you're hanging out at Magic HQ. So I have a few cauldrons because lots of different spellcasters like to use them, so I wanted to make sure to have multiple. So I have at least 3. I have one in the kitchen, one in this classroom, and one a couple floors above this. So have a few of them to choose from, and I think that will be enough. With the little bit of time that I had this on live mode, only 1 or 2 were being used at any given time, so it should be enough. In case you didn't know, you can actually make food in these cauldrons, which is awesome. So you can I think you can make macaroni and cheese and maybe chili, maybe one other thing, and it's hilarious. It's just a huge cauldron of macaroni and cheese. I can't remember the exact number of servings that you get out of it, but I think it's at least 12, maybe more. But it's hilarious, and I love it, and it's probably going to be one of the first things that I have my Sims do, is make just like a huge vat of macaroni and cheese. Like, all our dreams will come true with this huge thing of macaroni and cheese. One thing that I do want to mention is that, I don't know if you noticed, but all these books that came from this pack, they're like really old looking and they're all magical looking. Well, I put those things kind of everywhere as decoration. But as I put this on live mode while I was taking pictures, I noticed all the other spellcasters were taking them. You know, because you can't really stop them. They're just going to come in and swipe them and read them and just keep them in their inventory. So just so you know, some of those books might be missing because of the spellcaster thieves. So there's that. I'm just glad that I ended up using lots of decoration books, not real books, around the place. Otherwise, all the books would have been gone in like a few short minutes of me having it on. They had pretty much taken all of them. So you might notice them gone, but like I said, They use lots of decoration books that they don't take. I absolutely love those hanging, like drying herbs that came with this pack. I have so many builds that I feel like those could go in, and I feel like I'm going to be using them in pretty much everything from now on. I love them so much. They're so cute. And oh, here's the greenhouse, and I made sure to put in lots of weird plants. So I have the Sixum mosquito trap plant, I think is what it's called, and then I have those plants from Strangerville, and I just wanted to put all the weird ones, because especially those ones from Strangerville, they will, like, they're kind of pulsating, and they move a little bit, and have kind of like some pores around, some spores around them, and I just wanted to make sure that any greenhouse that Hogwarts has is full of some weird stuff. But I also left some empty planters so that you can plant. I think there's 2 plants that came with this, and there's roots. There are roots that you can use in your potions. So I left some room so you can plant some of that and have it easily accessible. And here in a minute, you'll see me put the flying car up into the Whomping Willow Tree. And I put the beat up car in there because I can't really put a Forbidden Forest. I know that's where the car is, where it was hanging out after it was in the Whomping Willow Tree. But I don't have a Forbidden Forest to put the car in. So in my story, the car has just been sitting up in there this whole time. And so it's all beat up and kind of rusty. It's that one right there. And yeah, that's my story. And I'm sticking to it. So yeah, it's just still hanging out up there in that Whomping Willow Tree. One of the things that I thought about adding to this build is I thought about adding kind of plaques to the wall, and like maybe in a hallway or something, and they would act as those like educational decrees that Dolores Umbridge, made up, where she filled the entire wall with rules. So I thought about adding that, but then my hatred of Dolores Umbridge brought me to my senses, and I was like, no, I can't have anything reminding us of Dolores Umbridge in this whole build because I dislike her so much. So I totally got rid of that idea. Well guys, we are pretty much done with this build, and boy, it is a long one. I really wish that I would have counted how many hours it took to build this. I know it was a lot. But since this is so long, if you are still with me, man, I appreciate you so much. You have no idea. Thanks so much for watching, you guys. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. And I hope to talk to you all again very soon. Bye, everybody.